Here's a little review on playing Birls. So we're talking about an embellishment on the low A of the chanter, right? So fingers are in the low A position, and you'll see in your music a Birl. And the basic premise of the Birl is that you need to start it from low A, and then you're going to touch down the finger to play a low G, back up to low A, back to low G, and back to low A. So in slow motion, literally the way I just described it, it would be like that. Now that said, this going straight up and down like that is not generally comfortable for most people to play a Birl. So there are a bunch of different styles or ways to play a Birl, and I'm going to go ahead and review those next. So one of them is where you bring the pinky finger above the bottom hole and you swipe down sideways like that and then back up. And that one goes like this. I am not good at those. It makes my finger lock up, but some people can do that one, right? Like that. Another one is the opposite of that, where you start from the bottom of the hole and slide up and then back down. So that would look like this. Again, my finger locks up. It doesn't like it, but that is a way to do it. So we have those two versions, starting from the top or starting from the bottom. One of the challenges doing it that way is that this finger will roll, the B finger will tend to sort of roll on the hole there, the B hole, and so it can be tricky. So that's just one example. Another type of Birl would be the one that I started with, where it's tap down and then tap again. So it's tap, you go down, up, up. I'm not sure how many people do that one. That one to me is very slow, and it also tends to make my finger lock up. Okay. And another version of that, which is actually, I think, quite popular, is the first time you touch down, it's just a tap and straight up. And then you tap down the second time and pull back like this. So I'm starting up here, I'm playing the first low A, I tap down, straight back up, tap down again, and then just pull back. That's how I play Birls now. When I was younger, before my fingers got slightly arthritic, I would play the Birl, what I call the cobra. I don't know what people call this, but I call it the cobra, where the idea is the fingers kind of lock back like a cobra, and then it steps out and comes right back. And so this is an example of the cobra. Side view would be, you can see I'm not that great at these anymore. Again, my fingers have changed over the years, but the cobra method worked really well for me for a long time. It's sort of like you're cocking the finger back, and then that energy just kind of goes in and out like that. So I'm kind of modeling it there from the front view, right? And in reality, when I'm doing that, I'm actually, for me anyways, I'm using the outside of my pinky finger. Okay, another one that people do that I actually don't think I can play at all, it's the number 7, right? It's like you're drawing a number 7, you're coming, it's hard to explain, but you're coming down this way, that's the top of the number 7, and then coming back that way. So it's like you're drawing a number 7, here's the top of it, and then you're pulling back to make the bottom of it. Anyway, mechanically, it's like this. You're starting with the pinky finger above the A hole, and you come down, right? And then you pull back, and on the way back, you touch that hole. So it's like you're drawing a number 7 from the top view. So that's another way. And I believe those are all the ways to play a Birl. I could be wrong. There might be some more, but those are the 3 different ways, or the many different ways, regardless of what method you play. But I believe that your intent is to experiment with them, would be that you want to get the method that plays the clearest embellishment, which sounds obvious, right? But things to be aware of would be, number 1 is your finger locking up when you try it. If it is, just abandon that one or figure out a different finger position, which I will talk about in just a second. The other thing to watch out for is the B finger wanting to roll from side to side, where you get that sound, that unintended sound where the B hole is partly uncovered while you're doing the burl. Usually, I think that happens when people are coming down with their pinky finger like this, and the B finger rolls off, and then the top of the B hole is exposed. So you want to look out for that. So look out for your finger locking up. Look out for the B finger wanting to just roll sideways, right? Those are the two biggies. The bottom line with a burl is that you want to be able to have a nice clear low A, and then two very symmetrical, even grace notes, low G grace notes, right? You want that one wasn't so good. So what I would recommend, whichever one you pick, right? Let's just say you're doing the Cobra method, right? You're just going to start slowly. You're going to keep your fingers as relaxed as possible. Okay? Generally speaking, you're going to be playing on the pads, second pads on your fingers, right? Generally speaking, down in here, right? Yeah. Okay? But anyway, try and make them as relaxed as possible and just try them, right? I think that was the number 7, right? Here's the tap tap. Here's the tap pull. And then the what was the other one? Oh, just the down up thing. You can see I'm horrible at that one. And then the bottom up and then back down. So what you would do is pick the one that's the most comfortable, and then set up these fingers so that we're not doing popsicle sticks, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We want to keep these kind of relaxed, and it'll keep that finger, moving nicely, and you get more surface area, I guess you would say, on this B hole finger, because as opposed to being straight as a board, right, kind of relaxed on the channer, and then you'll have more of your finger covering that hole, yeah? And then just play nice and slowly. Whichever one you pick, I would say you want to do, regardless of the style I'm doing, the sound you want is a clear low A, 2 clear strikes, and then a nice low A afterwards. That was slowed down, a little slower. Once you get that comfortable where you found the style you like the best so far anyway, right, while you're sleuthing this out, and then you would do a speed exercise, right? You'd start very slowly. I'm going to not take breaths in between the burls now, and I'll model the speeding up until you fail, right? Okay, I failed. I made a mistake. So then I stop, take a break, maybe shake it out if your hands are getting tight. Hopefully they're not. Mine aren't. I've been training myself to keep my hands nice and loose, but it's hard to do sometimes. And then you start over. I had a couple of weak ones in there, so I'm going to call it a mistake. And failure, basically, is what it is. And then you back up and start over again. And failure is a good thing in this case, because it's sort of like, I think it's like bodybuilding, people who lift weights. The idea is to work your muscles till they fail, right? And that's, you're ripping the muscles, right? And then you rest for a couple days and eat properly and stay hydrated, and then your muscles get stronger. I kind of look at it like that. So we're trying to play until as fast as we can until failure. But when I say as fast as we can, I mean good quality, right? And then the failure is that the quality is poor. And hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any other questions, okay, Mike? Because maybe there's something I'm missing, but I think that'll be a good start, and I think it's a good way to allow yourself to experiment with the different burl types, because it's just different for everybody, I think, just depending on your hand shape, like my fingers, look at these pinky fingers, they're curved like that, right? So maybe that's why the method I use is better, the tap pull, tap, pull. So let me know if I can help with anything else.